Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Where are we here? I think we're Tuesday, July 14th. Coming into the tail end of the first 2 weeks of the third quarter. Lots of second quarter earnings reports are flooding the market. Coming right into now. The tail Looks like we're live on YouTube, so that's good to hear. And in a weird sort of way, it's kind of like they threw the baby out with the bathwater. The bankers went, diluted the shit out of the currency. They brought the market right back to sort of where they figure the discount of earnings is going to be because of COVID. And if anything, almost think of it like they knocked the EPS estimates down 30%. So if you can think about like the quarter as a quarter of the year, they basically said there's going to be no earnings for this particular quarter. The question ultimately here is, do these companies actually earn anything? And if they do, then we might find that that 30% reduction actually was a little bit overblown. As a result, like I said, stocks basically sitting at what we sort of calculated was in fair value, based on the Fed dilution and the reduction in earnings rates. So as a result, here we are just parked in this range, more of that violently flat kind of market state. Just, for those people trading bonds or oil or the stock market, this is really boring stuff. If you happen to have individual names that are popping, then gee whiz, there's a lot of individual names that are popping. Look at this crazy one that Kevin had. We were looking at it back off of this double bottom here. What do you think? Would that have been a half decent trade? Woulda, coulda, shouldas. Wasn't in that one, but nonetheless, just goes to show you what kind of market state that this is. But as for the bigger markets, and it's kind of the same thing in crypto. The bigger markets, they're kind of parked violently flat. I mean, the only market that's really moving higher out of this whole group is gold, and we'll see what gold does here. But on balance, most of these markets are completely range-bound, and kind of the same thing with the stock market, sort of sitting in a trading range. I think, things like tech stocks got a little overdone yesterday, and stuff got way out of whack, and so prices came down precipitously, but I do see that they're coming back in on the buy side on those tech stocks again today. But like within the altcoin space, we've got just incredible altcoins going nuts, like that RIGL in the stock market, and yet Bitcoin is violently flat, just parked here. And I wouldn't be surprised if literally over the next 6 weeks, this is what's going to happen for the rest of this summer. Probably going to see some pops up top. Probably going to see some pops down below. But by the time Labor Day comes around, we're probably sitting in exactly the same spot. But we'll see. Only time will tell. Specifically, of course, risk on, risk off. We like to keep an eye on the US dollar index. Interesting how we just did not get that back and forth through this. It's just been pretty much one directional. We had sort of mentioned yesterday that probably key support is this trend line now. Bounced off of it the other day, and now we're back to that magic trap level. Interesting to see if they form some sort of nutso insano kind of like doji-ish type candle to come down and touch that and then spring off it again. Who knows? We do have to start respecting the fact that these bearish bot setups are actually starting to I don't really like this kind of thinking. It's like straight lines, kind of like Bitcoin. Do you want to short Bitcoin straight line down? If I did want to bot this out, I would really like to see this trading range develop here a bit more. But it is what it is. Sometimes the market, this thing might just crap right out, and we just go into absolute orgy risk on mode as the US dollar just collapses here. It's not what I would be expecting. As you can sort of see here over the next week or so, I'm looking for this to pivot. But, strong opinions loosely held. This was kind of a fun study that I thought that the year would sort of follow. But we're going to find out very shortly whether this thesis is of any value or not. And of course, if we puke out here, start losing these lows, then I think we have to start thinking about tests of this original megaphone level down here at 92. I guess that's like 93. I wouldn't expect that, but hey, the market will do any old damn thing it wants. So obviously big down day in US dollar index means big up day in international currencies, means risk on type environment. And interesting stocks yesterday were kind of like, oh, we get a break. Remember I said NASDAQ and everybody went, whoa, 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 slow down, slow down, slow down. Now we're just creating a doji here. So not as much enthusiasm out of the risk that actually I would have expected with such a precipitous drop in the US dollar index. That's a bit of a surprise. And interesting, our crazy crude oil. And this market, I was even joking with one of my old Top Step trader buddies, Johnny Hoagland, this morning. And gee whiz, this oil market sure looks heavy. But every time we get ready to dump, somebody just keeps bringing this damn thing back. So our ongoing sort of odyssey through trading crude oil, looking at the August contract. Actually, August, we have to start thinking about rolling out into September pretty soon here. First notice date for August will probably come up here, probably actually sometime this week. It wouldn't surprise me. So we probably need to be thinking about getting the hell out of August here. And maybe you might even have like a short squeeze, very similar to that long squeeze to take prices to negative. Maybe we have a short squeeze going on here. But anyway, probably change this contract out to the September contract. We'll keep an eye on these sort of developing trades because I would really like for you all to see how long does it take, how many attempts does it take to actually get the market to come back to the 50% rule and book a nice I would consider this more like a swing kind of trade, certainly not a day trade. But the ongoing crude oil odyssey, interestingly enough, this trade's now actually back in the money by a few ticks. Go figure. And I suppose you could argue also too, risk on kind of thing. Not a surprise to see crude's got a bit of a bid in it here today. But I'll tell you, this risk-on bid is awfully weak. I mean, it's not really that strong. And, we'll sort of skip over risk-off just a moment. If we look at our Russell 2000 versus the Dow, sort of the appetite for traders to take higher risk bets in the market, that's a big honkin' M, isn't it? That to me is very much, buy when it snows, sell when it goes, in that rally window for the venture cap speculative part of the stock market is closing. We'll see how it goes. Only time will tell, but that image alone should give everybody pause. Excuse me, and I think it makes sense too. I don't see a hell of a lot of, monstrous moves. We got one or two, but nothing dramatic. On the flip side, risk off. Interesting to see bonds are now trying to catch a bid after a doji yesterday. Is this a Joby gap setup? I don't know. We could still work our way up into this ABCD objective. That would require the stocks to break and the oil to break. So we'll see how it goes. Really nothing for me to do there either. And then our good old buddy, the gold, all the gold bugs, actually is interesting. One of our veteran traders is very active in the silver trade today. But what's the image here? I suppose we could argue, if we went up, we came back down, we're moving back up now. If we do come along and actually close below there, that'll give us an M. But that's not here now. So we've got this funny little tail that did actually create like a full candle M, but I don't have much confidence in that. As it stands right now, to me, this still looks like higher highs and higher lows defines a bull until we actually M out here. That fractal top did fire, though, so I can understand some late bulls kind of going, you know what? It's looking a little dangerous. Maybe I'll just hop off. But, you know, anybody who did position trades off of the bottom here, if you took the bot level, whatever, you're just sitting there just twiddling your thumbs right now. Not really much new to do anywhere there. So we talked a little bit about Russell 2000. Small cap market looking a little sort of tired, I think is probably the best word. Interesting anecdote. Here's a fun little stock, Funko, that I bought. I remember I asked all you guys on YouTube to wish me luck. Really good analogy of, you know, W breakouts, market moves up. Just missed my sell half on a double order just by a whisker here. Oh, well, what can you do? Live by the sword, die by the sword. But if anything, I already have my trading plan all well defined. So really, for a guy like me, when we go all through this, there's really nothing for me to do. And it's just interesting to see that you can see in this, and I think I've talked to you guys about this before, you know, short term, what I could see is like a nice head and shoulders, which should theoretically, if this resolves, take us back up top, and I'll just be nice and patient, disciplined, wait for my fill. And it's just an interesting anecdote that, yes, the trade's on. There's where I take profits and actually declare victory. All through this, just be patient and disciplined. Your money's just working for you in the marketplace, and, you know, here we go. Looks like she's starting to firm up again. And I mentioned this through our daily brief here today because really interesting example of really, really powerful tight momentum signals. Clearly this thing's trying to pivot back up, and if I understand correctly, their stuffed animals and stuff are all the rage on, was it Amazon, Kevin, or eBay or something like that? He was telling me one of his friends said that they're all the rage again. So, I don't know. You here, Kevin? Nope, it's just me today. All right, so moving on. Looking at the corn, so everybody continue wishing me luck, and really I won't declare victory until we get this level traded to, and, you know, we'll see how it goes. eBay. Kevin says eBay. There you go. All right, heading on over to crypto. Crypto tastes great. You know, very much like the stock market. Ironically enough, very much like crude. Stuck in a trading range. And violently flat. Cool part about what I often find happens is I'll sort of stick on a theme, and we end up not really changing the theme for a while. So I think we got into this sort of violently flat kind of conversation in here, and in essence, you know, that is what violently flat looks like. Don't really have any huge expectations one way or the other out of a market like this right now. You can see we're coiling in price. Probably going to build to some sort of crescendo around the 28th of July. So here we are, 14th. Really what this says to me is probably for the next couple weeks, just big hurry up and do nothing. I wouldn't be surprised if we pop out through the top here. And if we do, awesome, great, gnarly. But just remember our rule. Trendline breakouts, we want to see a W on the other side of the trend line to actually validate that it's actually a buy signal. What I'm worried about here, and we've seen this repeatedly, where you get these big spike ups and then we're going to get a big honk and and back down we go. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now with corn. Not a hell of a lot to do. What the part of the market that I actually really do like right now is, and I've been talking about this for quite a while with you guys, is the altcoins. Altcoins taste great. I don't necessarily have any sort of setups on this like big perp index. Why is that not maximizing? Anyway. But I just will take information from the market. And half the time, that's really what we want to do. Is we just want to, what's the market's message? And as long as we keep making higher highs and higher lows, the message is I'm a bull and get out of my way. Our most recent key support's all the way down here on this shit perp. It's about 837, so sitting at over 1,000. We could easily see a good 10-15% correction here, no problem whatsoever. So be cognizant of that. And from what I understand, there are, watching Crypto Chico guy, there are rumblings that there is a potential bombshell floating out there in the crypto land with regard to this Tether thing again. So maybe that's something that might derail us here in the short term. But this market's got a hell of a head of steam behind it. And, here's just another example, this ONT. I mean, that doesn't look like a short to me. Maybe we rally up and then exhaust ourselves and start emming out. Okay, fine. But, that's what I have to see. When an asset's making new highs like this, I don't want to step in front of it. And FYI, I went and bought this W, typical Brian kind of trade. So I'm actually getting ready to sell halves on doubles up in this area up here. So that's the kind of market it is, right? It's, and this is exactly what's supposed to happen this time of year. This is very normal. So, get out there, make hay while the sun's shining. Try not to chase, try and buy those W's. And then, of course, when the public's coming in all nuts out of the upside, that's when you're taking profits. So be forewarned. I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to be hearing about Brian ringing the register on ONT pretty soon. And the list it's just, they're all going one at a time. I thought this was a really good example. This link here basically ran right up into profit objectives here. I don't know whether it's a good idea to go put a new position on here. As always, it's extremely dangerous to call tops. Could this thing go cranking higher? Sure. My hunch is that whatever this top looks like, notice, you have a big push up here, and then you have another top, but this isn't so much. And then you have another top, and this isn't so much. Same sort of thing here. Big push up here, then you have another high, but this push wasn't as much. That's what creates that divergence kind of concept. So my hunch is, if this is the top, and you never know in this crazy game, but it could be, what it's probably going to look like is some sort of rolling top where the highs get a little bit less, right? And then you look down at your even things like volume. Maybe this next push will be a little bit lower and then a little bit lower. And you get that kind of divergence pattern. So that's what I would be looking to actually call a top here. And until this thing tops, it's not topped. Don't get into the business of calling tops. You might get your head handed to you. But at the same time, too, anybody who was taking positions down in this reload zone, if you didn't take some profits into here, I would be like, come on. What are you, crazy? Remember, bulls make money, bears make money, but we all know what happens to those pigs. Don't be greedy. Don't get into the habit of being greedy. Don't build your plan on greed, or you're going to get screwed one day. Just be conservative. We know what the shit is. Buy your W's. If the market's trending, it will pay you big time. But at the same time, too, be realistic, right? Take profits, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, whatever. But just make damn sure to pay you. Actually, here's a really good example, this VET, where you can clearly see we had upside objectives. The market did go a little bit beyond. But if you were sitting in here, and heaven forbid you actually bought up here, right now you'd be going through like 1,000 deaths. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? So, anyway, lots of fun in the market. I mean, never a dull moment. Have some fun out there. You remember this DGB? I mean, geez, this thing's still just doing its thing. Like I said, seasonally, this is the time of year when these things pop. Oh, that Raven coin. Remember we were talking about that? It looks like he's getting ready to go. This Algorand, he's rocking and rolling. Look at Mona starting to get... I mean, they're all just doing their seasonal thing right now. So get out there and enjoy yourselves. Did I show you this ONT? Man, that ONT looks great. Actually, that was the one that I showed you here. Look at that chart. It's just beautiful. Anyway, I'm rambling now. Okay, everybody, have yourselves a great day. Hope you got some value out of that. All the best, and bye for now.